Hello and welcome to day 4 of the Doha Daily. I'm Scott McIntyre, joined by the tag team. I don't know if you can have a 3-person tag team. This is Mr. Michael Church, this is Mr. Paul Williams, and we are coming to you from Qatar on a historic day for Asian football after we witnessed Saudi Arabia defeat the might of Argentina 2-1. An absolutely fantastic result. We'll get into all that in a minute. Unfortunately, things weren't as good for Australia, who have just been defeated 4-1 by France, and we'll also get to that, guys. But let's start, Michael, right at the top. As the sprinklers are coming on, this is a little bit of entertainment for us. We may get wet, or we may just soldier on like the Saudis did. There was no running from the Saudi Arabians. We're not running from the sprinklers the same way. A 2-1 result, absolutely a fantastic, a watershed moment for Asian football. It's been called the biggest upset in World Cup history, and for me, just as important as the result was the way that the Saudis played up. We saw some timid performances from Qatar and Iran. They came out and they went toe-to-toe with Argentina for long periods.
Look, it was a fantastic performance, wasn't it? Great atmosphere, great performance. Saying it's the biggest upset in the history of the World Cup, that's a bit of a stretch. When North Korea beat Italy in 1966, and I think that one will be
that was before betting markets were as
well
established as they are.
That's true. But I think you'd have to go some to eclipse that. But a hell of a performance by the Saudis. They were defensively disciplined. They were well organised. And they took the game. They played on the front foot. They played 2 up front. They knocked the ball around. Yeah, they rode their luck a little bit in the first half. A couple of marginal offside calls, but that was a testimony as much as anything else to the well organised and well disciplined defending the defensive line. And 2 great goals, 2 goals in 5 minutes. It was a fantastic performance.
Al-Shari and Al-Dosari were the goal scorers. The man of the match was actually the goalkeeper, Mohamed Al-Awais. But for me, the whole defence and particularly maybe a guy that you can get into him in a minute, I thought were absolutely superb. So it's not the result, it's not the performance, but also it's the shop window and the exposure now for a couple of the younger players in the squad who should absolutely be on the radar of some big European clubs after this performance today.
Absolutely. I think one of those players you refer to is Hassam Al-Tambakhi, the central defender, who was absolutely immense. Has been a rising star of Asian football for a couple of years now, particularly at youth level, but he really stepped up today and he was immense. I thought Saud Abdelhamid at right back was immense as well. Yasser Al-Sharani before he got stretched off. The entire defensive line was absolutely exceptional in what they were able to do in sort of repelling Argentina and stopping them. It was an historic day. We spoke about it briefly as we ventured outside the stadium at Lusail there. It was an historic day for Saudi football, and it's one that it's almost 10 hours now after kick-off, and I still can't quite believe what I saw.
What do you think this means for the Saudis going forward? Because I mean now it's a weird situation. I mean, you've just knocked off one of the tournament favourites in Argentina. Do we expect? I mean, I guess the only minor critique you could have is that after playing so well for the first 75 minutes, they the back 4 became a back 5, it then became a back 6, and it almost became a back 16 at some point. And they did try and hang on. I'm not sure, as you guys know, my belief, I'm not sure that that's the way to approach things, particularly as you had done so well prior to that. How do you think they now approach these next couple of games? Of course, the result in the match between Poland and Mexico, scoreless in that game, I guess it helps them as well. So everything's set out nicely. Do you expect them to continue to play positively, or will there be an ordering things? The other thing that we didn't mention is the injury to Salman Al-Faraj, who went off at halftime as well, which is a key blow. We don't know how bad that is, but what does this mean for Saudi going forward?
I don't think it's going to change their approach going forward. I think if they're playing that way against Argentina, they're going to play that way against Poland and against Mexico as well. What will be interesting is the short turnaround. Obviously, there's a shorter time between games at this World Cup than there has been at World Cups previously as well. The fact that Salman Al-Faraj went off injured is unlikely probably again to feature at this tournament. I think someone said he was walking out in crutches after the game, so that suggests that he's certainly not likely to feature against Poland in a few days' time. Probably not at this tournament. Yasser Al-Sharani, we don't know the extent of his injury. Copped a heavy knock late in the game as well, so they could be down a couple of key players for the next game. But if they continue to play that positive style of football, then there's no reason that they can't go into the next few games confident that they can get results. And probably one more draw gets them likely through to the next round. You'd think 4 points often gets you through, so they can just pick up a point maybe a win. A win definitely gets them through. So it's really set themselves up nicely for this group.
Yeah, fantastic performance. We want to just say thank you once again to SMC for making our coverage here from Qatar possible. One of the things we were trying to do, that we want to do, is to give the viewers and the listeners some insight into the country and the way that things are, maybe not always the way that things have been reported, and we're trying to bring you little features like this one that we have for you right now with Mohammed Abdul Karim. He's a porter in the historic Central District in downtown Doha. So let's have a look at his story.
My name is Mohammed Abdul Karim. I job the school here, Succumbed. Customers come here this way, buy something like this, put my rolly, this safety, customers put them car. It's coolie working here, this porter working like this. Succumbed very good market, this opening market, very also people here, shopmen and business, all people very nice. This here life I am so much like here life, and people also very nice. I am here 13 years. Morning 8 o'clock starting, 12:30, lunchtime going to home. After I will come back coming 4 o'clock, and 10:30 like this going my house evening night. Every day, every day. I am not this maybe tired. I am maybe not coming like this. Every day coming here market. 8:30 starting duty. I am so many people from Irani people. So many friends have, and Sudan, and from Pakistan, and from Bangladesh, and Nepal. So many friends have here. And my family also there from India. Every 1 year I am going to vacation. Every Ramzan time I am going to vacation from India. Maybe 4 months stay there, after come back like this. I am so much like football. I am this football. I am so much like. They say how I am going to this college students. I am so much like. എനിക്ക് വളരെ ഇഷ്ടമാണ്. ഞാൻ കോളേജിൽ പഠിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഞാൻ ടൂർണമെൻറ്റിൽ പങ്കെടുത്തു. എനിക്ക് ഒരുപാട് ഇഷ്ടമാണ് ഫുട്ബോൾ കളിക്കാനും ആസ്വദിക്കാനും. ഇപ്പോൾ പ്രായമായതുകൊണ്ട് എനിക്ക് ശരീരത്തിന് ചില ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടും പ്രയാസങ്ങളുള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ അതിൽ നിന്ന് സ്വല്പം പിന്മാറിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. എനിക്ക് വളരെ ഇഷ്ടമാണ്. അർജൻറ്റീനയും ബ്രസീലും എനിക്ക് വളരെ ഇഷ്ടമുള്ള ടീമാണ്. അർജൻറ്റീന എനിക്ക് ഒരുപാട് ഇഷ്ടമുള്ള ടീമാണ്.
Unfortunately, things weren't as positive for Asia's other representative on the day, as the Socceroos went down 4-1 to a very good France side. Michael, it probably could have been even perhaps a little bit worse than that for Australia. What were your general thoughts on the game?
I thought Australia made an excellent start, obviously, through Craig Goodwin's opener in the 9th minute. A couple of other chances, a superb effort from Mitch Duke, but ultimately they were undone by a very talented French side who, through Mbappe, Adrien Rabiot, they took control of the game, and eventually their class showed.
Paul, I mean, it was probably the result that we expected. Was Australia's equal worst ever number of goals scored against them in the World Cup, so it's obviously not a positive. But the result in the other group game between Denmark and Tunisia, which was a scoreless draw, still leaves the door absolutely open. 2 wins from those 2 games and you're through. What kind of lessons do you think Australia can take from tonight?
I think they just need to play the way that they did when they started that game. They came out onto the front foot. They tried to take that game to France. We spoke about it with Saudi Arabia, that positive style of play that they had, and Australia adopted that as well, and that led to that opening goal from Matt Leckie, the Mitch Duke chance that Michael referred to as well. If that goes in, then it's a completely different game when you're 2-0 up. But then France just started to get a foothold into the game, some defensive lapses, some sloppiness in defence from Nathaniel Atkinson as well. He got caught out. I thought the fullbacks got caught out quite a bit, although Bajic had his good moments as well. So they just need to take the lessons of what they did well in that kind of first opening 20 to 25 minutes, and if they adopt that against Tunisia in their next game, if they come out with that same mentality, there's no reason they can't test Tunisia as well.
All right, Michael, just quickly, the fifth of Asia's 6 representatives gets underway tomorrow. That's Japan when they face Germany, another massive challenge. How do you think Japan will get on?
I think it's going to be another big challenge, as you say, Scott. We know the Japanese have a lot of talent within their squad, but they're facing a very strong German side, and it's going to be a tough game. But they've got the capacity to pull off a result. We have many of the Japanese players obviously are playing in Germany in the Bundesliga, and there will be no real surprises for Japan when they go into that game tomorrow.
Right, that is where we will leave things for today. We'll be back tomorrow to wrap that game and preview Korea's opening match after that. But to take you out tonight, let's look back once again at all the colour, noise and passion from the Saudi Arabian fans after that historic day for Saudi and Asian football.